Blackwell's Island for a year, came in 1893. At a meeting in Union Square, I had advised thousands of unemployed not to trust politicians, but stand up and demand bread from the rich. For proposing the first of America's Poor People's Marches, I was hauled into court and questioned on my views on God and government and morality, all of which I happen to oppose.
Why don't you leave this country if you don't like it here?
And where shall I go? Everywhere on earth they tell me the laws are against the poor, and they also tell me I'll never get to heaven. Nor would I want to anyway, frankly.
Gentlemen of the jury, were this dangerous woman to be acquitted, it would be to lift off the black flag of anarchy and let it wave over the ruins of law and order. Aliens like her would just as soon as not run a knife into anyone or blow up half the town with dynamite bombs.
Yes, the children of the rich would be exterminated. And worst of all, property is likely to be destroyed. I was convicted of inciting to riot, even though there hadn't even been a riot. In fact, all I was exhorting the masses to do was to recall Cardinal Manning's dictum of long ago.
Necessity knows no law. The starving man has a right to a share of his neighbor's bread.
For this, the authorities demanded my head. The San Francisco Code proposed that I be hanged.
By the neck until dead and considerably longer.
Why? Because I dare to strip off hypocrisy's masks. I dare ask questions that nobody asks, such as...
What good is government that lets the starving die?
Why should the state matter more than you or I?
Anarchism means no one tells you what to do.
You decide what's good for you.
Those rich houses over on Parliament Avenue. Go! Demand work! If they don't give it to you, demand bread! Give us something to eat! If they don't open up their doors, we've got to take to the streets! Is there no way to avoid violence?
We shall never be able to put an end to violence, but we can refuse to condone injustice with our silence. I mean that equally concerning any tyranny, communistic, fascistic, or any kind of high moralistic. I will never say only what powerful people would like to hear. So, in 1893, they sent me to Blackwell's Island prison for a year.
B. Birth control.
What kind of world is it where women have no voice, but in poverty bear children and society's scorn? Anyone with feelings sees they ought to have a choice, so I spoke out on the right of the child not to be born. I broke the law by teaching methods of birth control, but how could I not play that healing role?
The world is sick to its soul, and somehow we had to reach
where every woman has the right to bear a child or to refuse, and not to be dictated to by the law or by some dominating male for promoting every female's right to choose. In 1916, I was sentenced to 2 weeks in Queens County Jail.
Convictions, my convictions, as simple as ABC. Anarchism, birth control, conscription resistance, that's EG. EG's third conviction for conspiracy with me, Alexander Berkman, and many others was for induce persons not to register for service in a war in 1917, where so many would be so senselessly killed. During the trial, there was a recruiting station outside where a band kept playing the Star-Spangled Banner. All were ordered to stand. We remained seated.
It is a strange perversion of human reason that dares question anybody's right to exist. But none does it so very effectively as the spirit of U.S. preparedness. The martial maniac run amok.
This is an audience participation number. You all get to chat with us. The martial maniac run amok. The martial maniac run amok. The martial maniac run amok. The martial maniac run amok.
The deathly germ of militarism is sweeping the country like a plague. Years ago, Germany proclaimed
Deutschland über alles, Deutschland für die Deutschen, first, last, and always.
we want peace, and therefore
we must be prepared for war. Only a well-armed nation has integrity and can command respect internationally.
and Germany continue to prepare, thereby forcing other nations to do so. We cannot build up a standing army and then throw it back into the box like trained soldiers. Armies equipped to the
War is a combination of the high-handed gospel and militarism.
dynamic. War assumes the strongest and most productive elements of the nation.
War!
Swallows the largest part of the national revenue.
Almost nothing is spent on literature, art, music, or education compared with the amount devoted to
In
war!
times of peace.
While in times of war, all else is said at naught. All life stagnates, all efforts curtailed to feed the insatiable monster of the military. It thus becomes more arrogant, more aggressive, more bloated, with its own sense of self-importance. For no other reason than out of surplus energy, militarism to stay alive will look for an enemy, or even create one artificially. Emma Goldman, 1917.
I spoke to anyone who would open their ears, urging all who hated war to resist. And in 1917, I was sentenced to 2 years, convicted of defending the human right to exist. When I came out of prison in 1919, the war in Europe was over and done. But America's war on its homeless and poor seemed to have only just begun. Thousands of radicals were denaturalized, which didn't just mean that the men could no longer vote. It meant we were subject to the whims of the deputized and could be rounded up at any time and sent off on a boat. A woman without a country, I really no name. A woman without a country is what I became. I know from personal experience what it means to be torn out of your environments and quarantined as if you had some loathsome disease, compelled to leave the work to which you devoted all your energies. Youth may adapt to this transplantation, but for those of advancing age, it takes years of application to master the language, habits, and customs of a brand new adoptive land, and a part of you remains behind, even though you are banned. The criminal convicted of moral turpitude, the idiot, the felon, the polygamist, and the epileptic. There's the deported anarchist. Since 1903, on the excluded list. Will they stop me at the border for fear the Liberty Bell will crack? America, I have not changed. America, will you take me back?
Our patriotism, said Emma Goldman in 1917 of herself and Alexander Berkman, is that of the man 1934. She died in Toronto, May 14, 1940, fighting to the end fascism and the persecution of anarchists. She is buried in Chicago's Waldheim Cemetery, next to the Haymarket Martyrs.